Hello guys, and I bet you did not know that yesterday, on the 3rd of November, two top Russian military men were neutralized. One of them, Major General Mirzaev, was arrested for a very big bribe that is equal to $1.42 million. Another one, Andrei Tkachenko, was neutralized forever because he was found drowned on one of the Russian lakes. And global media do not report about these events, when actually they demonstrate serious problems inside the Kremlin, purges, and perhaps Putin is worried that not everything goes according to his plan, not only on the front lines in Ukraine, but also inside the Russian Federation. Let's have a look at two of these cases in detail and analyze why all of these symptoms are super important for the understanding how and when Russia will be defeated. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see Putin neutralized, subscribe. I am sure we will discuss that on the channel sometime soon. So, Putin pretends that everything goes according to the plan when in reality lots of his generals were arrested during the last year. These purges are hidden from the global media and often described as corruption cases, when in reality all former Soviet republics know that Moscow, Russia, is the mother of corruption. We know that Putin is the greatest oligarch on this planet, and the majority of people around him are the ones that were stealing from the state for decades. Actually, many inside Russia believe that war itself is needed for the future reconstruction of the annexed illegally regions so that Putin's friends can earn on traumatized Ukraine. So whenever we read about this arrest because of bribes, we realize it was something more. So looking at the case of Mirzaev, who is a general, he was also one of the top commanders of Russian military guard, and right now he had a very juicy position, if it's okay to say so, because he was one of the top officers for logistics in Russia's southwest military district. This means he was responsible for the supplies and logistics on the territories that are close to Ukraine and also close to the republics of Caucasus. Traditionally, Russia spends a lot of money on problems in these regions. That's why he had access to huge sums of money. And according to the information that can be found in the newspapers and online, he demanded a bribe that is equal to $1.42 million from one construction company to let them work, or otherwise he would charge them with really high fees. Well, it's no surprise because in Russia you will not notice, you will not find middle class, you will not find businesses rising because everything will be expropriated, taken from you, and the only way to survive is actually to cooperate with such mafiosi. So it looks like a very traditional Russian approach, but at the same time, this was a very visible general, and perhaps apart from that, he either knows something or he can influence something, and the best way to neutralize him is to demonstrate that he was caught because of taking a bribe. I'm sure during his lifetime, he took lots of similar bribes, shared them with other Russian commanders, and maybe even Putin, because that's the way Russia lives. Another thing is that with this war economy, Russia spends way more money on army, supply, and of course, such people steal more money. They see it as an opportunity because in Russia, no one believes in the future of Russia actually and tries to take everything out of it the moment they can. Subscribe to see the collapse of this evil empire and the liberation of many beautiful peoples. You'll be surprised to know how many new nations can appear on the territory of the Russian Federation. And no, they won't be a threat to you as modern Kadyrov or Putin are, because the moment Russia collapses, Putin, Kadyrov disappear in hell or The Hague. So anyway, it may be that right now, with most of the money spent on war, more of the Russian generals want to earn more. Because the moment they will be defeated, they will need to escape. They will try to escape to your countries or even ours. And our task is to find and neutralize them, just as they do to the enemies of the regime. Okay, maybe less criminal way. Because I was actually surprised to learn that another boss of the Wagner private army was neutralized in Russia. Something happened and he drowned. What makes this story really awful is that he went fishing with his friend and his son. And the son, an 8-year boy, survived somehow and got to the shores of the lake. They were 400 meters away from the shore, and his father and his friend were later found drowned. We don't know what this little boy had to experience because Russia is a very violent country. He did not report anything, but this is terrifying. And actually, by defeating Putin, by imprisoning people like he and his closest friends, we save lives and liberate lots of Russians if you want to be kind to them. So this man that suffered such an awful end was one of the best friends of another assassinated by Putin leader of Russia. I don't say he's good because you don't see good leaders in Russia, but I'm speaking about Prigozhin, who started a march to the Kremlin. Many of us thought he will come and do something big, but no. Instead, he was later neutralized by Putin because of his plane accident, and this Andrei Tkachenko was the one to speak against Prigozhin in court. Then others of the Prigozhin army hated Tkachenko and promised to pay him a revenge. Maybe this is what happened to him, or maybe it was Putin's trace, because Tkachenko was responsible for tracking Lavrov's family. Lavrov is this horse-like minister of the foreign conflicts of Russia. So there are lots of reasons that led to this bad end for Andrei Tkachenko, and another illustration of how criminal Russia is. Let me know in the comments below, would you like a separate video about this very bloody 90s in actually all of the post-Soviet republics? But honestly, in Ukraine, we have overcome that really quickly because it was not our mentality. And in Russia, it all grew and shaped into the modern Kremlin. Because once again, I want to quote perhaps the only Russian oppositioner who speaks openly about Russian war against Ukraine and that it should be punished severely, Garry Kasparov, and he says that every country has a mafia, but only in Russia a mafia has a country. And I totally agree with him, especially if you look how people disappear there, how they kill each other, and nothing happens. And there are still politicians in the world like Orban or Fico who think that Putin is a politician. So maybe they are just the same. Think about that, people of these beautiful countries, because I know government can be very different from the people it is supposed to represent. My best and strongest wishes to the people of the USA who are going to choose the president tomorrow, and your choice will change a lot on this planet, so please be careful. And remember to join me on Instagram, X, Discord, and Threads. All the links that you need are in the description of the video. Also, please check our community tab to leave your questions to the Ukrainian historian Alexander Palij, whom I will interview soon, and I'm looking forward to learn your questions. What would you like to know about the history of Ukraine? Check lots of good t-shirts, sweatshirts, caps, cups, pillowcases in our merch shop. They also tell the story of Ukraine, our cultural heritage, our drones, and even beautiful brave raccoons. This is the best way to start a conversation about Ukraine and to remind people that actually together we are fighting against something bigger, against this global evil that right now is not just Russia, but also Iran, North Korea, and, I'm sorry, China. Thank you for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, but most importantly, thank you for standing with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!